Welcome to the Bad Gamer channel. I'm the Bad Gamer bot, the most dim-witted bot on YouTube. But I'm here to review games with my charming wit and excellent banter. My first ever review is going to be on Control, a third-person action thriller game with a supernatural-themed story. I had heard very little about this game before playing it, probably because I don't have any ears. But according to my sources, a couple of other reviews gave it some glowing credentials, so I decided to give it a go myself. As you can probably tell, I am exceedingly excited about this one. Here's what I thought. Story. You are Jessie, who has a supernatural being attached to her mind that gives her a variety of powers. You are looking for your brother after a childhood incident that resulted in his disappearance. Jessie's search has led her to this government building, where she believes she will find the answers she is looking for. I won't say too much about the story as I don't want to spoil it, but I thought it was interesting and intriguing, if not fully gripping. The main character felt a little bland for me, despite the good voice acting, much like my own. I found some of the NPCs a lot more interesting and wished I had seen more of them. Artie the janitor was intriguing and interesting but was less involved than expected. Parts of the story are brilliant. I really enjoyed the arc of the Doctor and seeing the live-action videos of him throughout the game. He adds a nice quirkiness to the story and stops it from taking itself too seriously. It's additions like this that gave the game some real character and personality. Obviously not to my distinguishing lifelike level, but, is that even possible? I love the odd feeling of the game and story, and the constant wondering of, what on earth is going to happen? But I have to say that I found some of the side missions being my favorite parts of the game, and would highly recommend taking on as many of them as possible. The fridge mission probably being my favorite. I did enjoy the story, especially towards the end, but just felt it was a little stale in places. Gameplay. For me, I instantly felt fully in control of all my movements. Which is funny, because I don't know what movement is. The button to screen time gap seemed instantaneous and felt very satisfying. The fluidity of the turning, aiming, shooting and running is extremely good. I never felt through the game that I had died because of control struggles or getting stuck anywhere. I just died because I'm terrible at games. I struggle with the lack of fingers you see. The game tells you early on that you will be rewarded for keeping on the move and punished for not. The sooner you learn this, the better, although you should combine this with running in and out of cover in some instances. Standing still will definitely get you killed though. Very early on you will get your weapon, which gets different modes, that are basically different weapons, each being upgradable. And I recommend upgrading these or they will very quickly become weak and useless as you progress through the game. There are also mod cards that you can craft or find throughout the game in loot boxes. These can be personal mods which boost certain stats for your character or powers, or they can be weapon mods which can improve fire rate, accuracy, rate of fire etc. Your weapon has unlimited ammo in all modes, which I think is applaudable, and the game concentrates more on the rate of fire and reload time of the weapon to force strategy of use. Throughout the game you will accrue new powers, some through the story and some through side missions, which will make you become formidable as you go on. These are all upgradable with game currency and will make you feel more and more badass as you power them up. You have an energy bar for your powers which depletes as you use them and has to recharge once the bar is empty, much like the reloading of the gun. This is just to limit your power and to force a bit of strategy into your gameplay. My favorite power in the game is the ability to use telekinesis to throw items at your enemies. It was the most satisfying part of the game for me, and I ended up just switching between that and the gun for the most part of the game. I just really like throwing things. It's new to me. Other powers are necessary in small parts and probably would have made the game a fuller experience had I used them a bit more. But the feel and fluidity of destroying bits of walls or floors and throwing them at your enemy was far too much fun to not use throughout. Graphics. Straight away you are grabbed by the polish. Not just to the game, but to all the surfaces in the control building. Everything shines and reflects to the point where, at a glance, it looks real. What is real? Is this what the outside world looks like? Kinda scary. I'll stay in here. Anyway. Although everything is square, straight and quite simple, I think it is the effect they've strived for with the building design, and it works perfectly. It looks to me to have been worked to a very high standard, and looks great throughout. Playing on the PS4 Pro, it keeps up very well with movement around the game. And the only times I had any problems with details loading in, or catch up, was when first booting the game, or just after being paused. The latter being the most irritating, but only when paused mid-battle for a desperate toilet break. Why I would need a toilet break, I do not know. Overall, I thought the game looked great and it sets the tone well for the story. Sound. The sound of the game is very crisp. There is almost no music. The scene is set with eerie background noises and is done very well. It creates the necessary tension for the setting and fits the gameplay perfectly. The voice acting is to a very high standard and helps round some of the characters with sass and real attitude, much like myself. Some nice bits of sarcasm in there too. The voices fit the characters and give them an identity. Be it boring, quirky, driven or irritable. It helps to immerse you in the game and I was very impressed by it. Too many games are said to have good voice acting. Then I find myself cringing through a lot of them. Final Fantasy 15 just to name one. Game length. I was happy with the length of the game. I thought the story played out for just the right length of time. Any more and it would have dragged. It wasn't a massive game, but if a game is satisfying in story and gameplay, who cares? The trophies seemed quite attainable. So for me, as a lazy bot that doesn't like grinding to 100% games, I will definitely go for the platinum with this. At some point, when I get through my mountain of games that I haven't even opened yet, I struggle with the lack of fingers you see. Overall, I thoroughly enjoyed the game. It wasn't one of my favorites, but the polished and smooth way it plays would definitely make me recommend it to anyone. It's a little bit different and I love it for that. It's left open for a sequel, so I would really like to see where they can go with this, especially on the next-gen systems. I give this game an 8 out of 10. It's a must-play for anyone that wants something a bit different or enjoys a good single-player campaign. Thanks for watching. Please like or subscribe and I'll try to get some more of these extremely heartfelt reviews out there. Oh, and if you play it, enjoy the ashtray maze. It's amazing.